Hi, today I did two small projects on AWS. They are beginner friendly projects. They are not big projects or advanced projects. Anyone can do that. If you have if you have some knowledge on or beginner knowledge on AWS, you can easily do the projects. Why I am saying this? Because today I am going to talk about those projects. I didn't give a entire information about projects, but I will give brief explanation. First of all, sorry to you all because I am going to complete this very fluently because this is first time I am explaining a concept and I am talking about a particular academic concept because the subject is completely related to academic. I do not talk about any English or how to prepare it, how to improve your English. I do not talk about that things. Today I am going to explain a topic I know and I am learning. Okay, let us start. Two projects. First one is related to AWS S3 bucket. The project name is hosting a static website file. Second, giving permissions to a user to access development environment and user could not able to access the production environment. That's it. These are the two projects. They are very simple beginner projects. In these projects also I struggled and I faced problems. I resolved it and I completed these projects completely. Second project I did not complete it completely, but I did it very oftenly. Okay, first one is AWS S3 project. Okay, this project gives the information and improves your knowledge on S3 bucket, how to give permissions to bucket or files, and what is public access and what is AWS recommended essentials, what is access control lists, and how to upload files to S3, what are different storage archives are presented in S3, how to access those files, how to enable static website file, how to host a static website like HTML pages, JavaScript or CSS pages, how to host those pages, those static websites on web page or on the internet using S3 bucket. AWS provide a very differentiate service called AWS S3. This service is a simple storage service. It's about finite storage. As you go on storing the things, it will store the things, everything. If you go on storing 1 GB, 2 GB, 2 terabyte, 3 terabyte like that, it also store everything that you are going to store. I think you understand it. I already said to you. So it have different storage classes: standard storage class, general storage class, storage archive, glacier, deep archive. These are all multiple storage classes. They are dependent on how to handle your storage, to delete after some days, and to access frequently, to access infrequently in some days, and to store longer time. These are multiple features provided with storage classes. Let us assume that you want to store some files for long term and you access those files infrequently. Then you go with S3 deep glacier archive. That storage class will support you to store files for long term and you can access it infrequently in a year or in the duration you are storing. Okay, first things first. First of all, you have to create an S3 bucket. Remember, S3 bucket should be unique, not entire your region. It should be entire globally global AWS. In entire global AWS, your bucket name should be unique. And AWS recommended option. AWS recommended to do not give direct access to public to access your bucket information or the files inside the bucket. Do not do that. So it is not recommended by AWS. So we are not doing it. And enabling version of the bucket. It means if you enable version of a bucket, the bucket is like a repository. You know about repository, like Git is there. What will happen if you make changes to a file? It will create a version of that file. It stores the changes of lost file and new file. Both files are same, but it will store the changes differently. It do not combine the changes. If you want to access the present changes, you can access that. If you do not want these changes, you can access the previous changes file. That's it. So bucket can also act like a repository if you enable versioning. Okay, did you got that? So there are multiple other stuffs like creating server encryption key for the bucket. If you do that, every time you need to upload any file through that encryption key only. So go as how AWS recommended. Do not do on your own or don't take it prior. The AWS is more secure. You have to be on that, and you have to trust that. So after creating bucket, upload files from your local storage file. After doing it, enable static website. It is very simple. After uploading files, you have to store those files. You have to enable static website. It's not much stuff. If you tap on the bucket, you will get some properties and like permissions. In the properties at the end, there will be a option to enable static website. In that, give the index.html file or homepage file name to the static website and access the link through endpoint of AWS S3 bucket. If you do that, definitely you could not access your static website. You will see an error called 403 forbidden because AWS by default recommended to disable public read access directly. So you have to create a AWS S3 bucket policy, then you have to enable public read access as per the policy, then you can enable or you can access the static website over the internet through the AWS S3 bucket endpoint link. That's how you are going to deploy and you are going to host a static website over the internet through AWS S3 bucket. That's it. It's quite very simple. You just have to do it as per the AWS. Nowadays we have a support with AI also. Absolutely, I'm saying, I'm being honest with you. I take the help of ChatGPT. I take the help of Gemini. So there is no time to explain about second project. Maybe I will explain about tomorrow. I will come up with a new project. So go on YouTube and search for this project like AWS S3 projects or AWS beginner friendly project. I found this project on nextwork.com. I found it on YouTube. From YouTube I go on to their website and from there I access this project. This project is very beginner friendly and it is quite easy to you to know the information or to have an hands-on experience about AWS S3 bucket. Do it. By doing only we can learn. Thank you.